Hello world and hello friends, welcome back. Uh, a really early progress update. The last video I posted hasn't even posted yet. But welcome back to episode 11 of my Let's Play. And like I said, in the end of like I said, at the end of last episode, I am going to be getting some farms done, not too much of decorating. And to start with that, I also want to do some exploring in the end to get some shulker boxes. But to do that, I need to get more rockets. I was actually almost completely out of rockets, and while I do have, oh, that's not a good way to see it. While I do have this farm beneath me for gunpowder, I had no reliable source of sugarcane. So you can probably guess where this is going. I have made a sugarcane farm to attach next to the gunpowder farm. This is a terrible view of it. But yes, right over here, I've added 2 stacks. That's how I'm measuring it. 2 stacks of sugarcane that is growing. And it has been running for about a few hours, I think 3 hours, give or take. And that's a decent amount of sugarcane. I like it. It's a good amount. It's more than I've ever had at one time in this world. But the amount of gunpowder produced in that time is far more. It has even gone into these other chests that I have flowing into here. It is about 3 times as much. Let's see, that's 2 lines plus one. Oh, this is more than 3 times. Because that'd be 1, 2, 3. And then all of those together would be like a fourth. That'd be 5, 6. Hang on, the math is more complicated than that. Yeah, so it's about 2 to 3 times more. So essentially, I need to make this be, instead of 2 stacks of sugarcane planted, I need to make it be like 6 stacks of sugarcane planted. And as you can see by the mechanisms I've done here, it is not cheap. That's a lot of observers. So that means I actually have to use a sticky piston flying machine, which is something I don't get to do much. So yeah. Oh, and also these chests are full of extra gunpowder that I emptied out of the farm beforehand, just so I could get an accurate measurement of time comparison. So yeah, I get to make a sugarcane sticky piston farm. Not sticky. I get to make a flying machine for a sugarcane farm, which is not something I've done before. I've really kind of avoided flying machines. I keep trying to say sugarcane, but flying machines, I really haven't done it much. But yeah, sugarcane farm will give me a bunch of rockets. Then I'm going to explore the end for a bit. Yeah, that's my next few steps. So, be back in a bit. Alright, well, I have done the flying machine. It is down below. I think it just did a run. And, I came across one problem pretty quickly, and that is I don't have gold, and I kind of need gold for powered rails. So please don't hate me too much for the um, different idea that I had of how to take care of this. Yeah, it will be fixed eventually. Please trust me on that one. Yeah, I used a lot of hoppers. Uh, a very large amount of hoppers. Once again, it's because I don't have any gold, so I couldn't make the powered rails. And I have one issue, as you can see above my head. But first of all, the data. So I did empty out all the sugarcane that had been produced before the test. Over here, we got not even 1 line. And this was maybe like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. And then over here, almost 2 full lines. So this one, obviously, is at least twice as effective. And there goes the flying machine. But here's the thing. This farm uses just over 5 stacks of sugarcane, while the farm over there just uses 2. So this should be more than double, not just barely beating double. Like 2.5 times, give or take. And I think that's because of the issue right behind me. As I walk backwards here, I'm going to pick up, oh, only 2 sugarcane. The point I was trying to make is that if I look over here on the sides, there is sugarcane that is just thrown to the wayside. In the center here, there is also some. And that is because using hoppers actually only looks for the block right above you. So having this be one block, any sugarcane here won't get picked up. But mud and farmland is just less than a full block. With the farmland, you can see it's 1 pixel lower, but with mud, you can really only tell when you walk there. You can see that it just shifts ever so slightly. So anything dropped here instantly gets picked up by a hopper, but anything here does not. Now, the hopper minecart, on the other hand, extends up slightly more than a block. So even though it does still pick up 1 cube above it, it's like 1 pixel higher. So then it will pick up 1 pixel above it, meaning it will pick up everything on top of this stone. Now, just real quick, this is a modified version of a shulkercraft farm. I'll link that down in the video. And I say modified because it's just slightly different dimensions, and I am using mud and, of course, the multitude of hoppers, which is many a stack of hoppers. So, yeah, I need to get some gold so I can actually make this one be a little bit more productive. And yeah, creepers are still going in the back. So yeah, I can do a temporary band-aid and get a hopper chest to run just underneath the stone, and I might do that real quick just to AFK for a little bit longer before I go and actually create a gold farm, because the gold farm is my next project. Once I do that gold farm, I can create a bartering farm, and in that bartering farm, I can get some dried ghasts. I think that's the name of it. I still haven't updated yet. I was going to do that after this farm. So, I will put that little band-aid on here, aka getting a minecart hopper underneath here to pick up all of this extra sugarcane, and then I will get on with making a gold farm. Well, I decided to do a different band-aid, and that was making everything slabs. It's a little bit harder to route a minecart through such a specific area, but right now, yep, everything gets collected. So yeah, this problem figured out for now. I'm still gonna replace it with rails eventually, but honestly, whoops. Honestly, I might just be lazy, and like I said, I'm just playing by myself, so lag isn't as big of an issue. Yeah, I'm gonna do another test, see how much better this is than that, and yeah, then I'll move on. Alright, well, I've done a few things out of order. I finished up the sugarcane farm, and then I decided, you know what, I want to go use the new rockets I got and go to the end. And through that, I have gotten 2 new elytra, a lot more of shulker boxes, a few more ender chests, and then I came back, and I was like, great, I want to start working towards a gold farm. Collected some magma, did some research, got some turtle eggs, and I realized that's going to take a lot of effort. Let me take a second, think about this, and do some editing. And then I realized I forgot to say, I forgot to say anything more. So, let me go show you that. I'm up out of the way to do that by coming straight out the window. And things look different, don't they? Everything looks like it's got just a tad bit of fog over it. Anyone know why? I'm just kidding. You probably know why. I've updated to 1.21.6. So, yeah, there's new fog, there's new clouds, and I can work on getting the happy ghast. And, oh, wow, yeah, fog does look slightly different. Not sure how I feel about it. Like I said, I'm noticing that there is, like, just like a faint bit more fog around everything. But that is definitely a little, but that definitely is a little bit more gradual of a fog, which is kind of nice. But anyway, down here, I did find that this, if I can stay out of the water, I did find that this farm produces about 3 times as much more as the farm here does. So I just routed it with water over to here to set it opposite of here, and I now have way more gunpowder than I will ever need, and also likely way more sugarcane than I will ever need, which is great. I should never run out of rockets. I just need to eventually, maybe if I feel up to it, make this a little bit more automated of crafting the rockets just for fun. Because hey, if I can do a bit less work, why shouldn't I? So like I said, I have gotten more shulker boxes, and I've actually started a little bit of, I don't know, trying to figure out what exactly I want out of my ender chest storage. And also, yeah, working on turtle eggs. So I already had a rockets, tools, and food box. The rest of these are just color coded because it's one of every color. And then this one has a bunch of bundles. Oh, and some compasses in there, just in case I want that organization. So that's what the brown one's for, but all of the other ones haven't been claimed. They're just some extra storage for right now, and I'll figure it out. Empty books, and then a little bundle of just, I don't know, like a miniature base. So if I ever need more ender chests, if I need a stick for like Matica, leads for animals, crafting table, stone cutter. Not entirely sure how I feel about the anvil being in there. But just little bits of stuff in case I need it. Chests, scaffolding, and then yeah. I'm not an expert at any of this stuff, but working with what I got. Ugh. But yeah, like I was saying, I have done some research about gold farms and oh no. Like I was saying, I have done some research about gold farms, and honestly, those need a lot of materials, and it's a lot of materials that I just do not have right now. So it's going to take a little bit of a longer time to collect them than I had anticipated. So I think I might actually go against what I've been saying this entire time, and that is I think I actually want to start building this house. And yeah, ideas have changed since I first laid this out, but I still think I like the layout of this building. So I think what I'm going to do first is try to get a few more turtle eggs, and then I'm going to build up this house a little bit. So yeah, see you in a second. Alright, I've been thinking about how I want to do this, and you know what? I'm going to bring you guys along for my thought process. I'm going to build this house in a similar way that I built my main house right behind me, and let's go through my thought process for all this. So the first thing I want to say is what I envision for this. And I do want to keep, like I said, similar style. So I'll have a staircase part between these two. And I think I'll try to slope gently up this way and gently down that way. I'm going to keep it a one-story house, but have this center area be just a little bit higher. So maybe in that regard then, I might move the back door to be in line with this one, because most of the reason I had this big open area was for all of the stone cutters, which I am no longer doing. But let's first start with some of the outside. And I think in general, because this house over there is 4 blocks, so you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the ceiling. So let's start on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of these, I guess in a sense, can be at the very least that 4 tall. And now with all these being 4 tall, I kind of actually, if I do want to have a gentle slope, I'm actually going to lower these down 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of the walls here. So I can just go around, fill in all of this, and I'm just trying to get just a general idea of what shape I'm working with. When I went around, however long ago it was, to actually draw the outline of this, I had the cobblestone around and I went, okay, what's the general shape that I want to do? And this was the general shape that I came up with. Will it stay? I don't know. But I kind of need to be able to visualize just a little bit more of what exactly I am working with here. Alright, so there we are. Just kind of the basic shape. And yeah, this will be a patio over. I'm thinking doing like a straight out, dropping that down a block, just to be in the ground. Having just a little patio over here, because, I mean, I'm still making this themed on a stonemason, and while there'd be a lot of work going on inside, there would be some amount of outdoor stuff that stonemasons would have to do. So, what I'm doing here for doors, still not sure. And same for the whole pattern of this. This is one block, but who knows? I will probably be adding more. Now, I do need to say that right now I need to try and see what the roof I'm going for is. Because I'm doing a little similar thing to that part of the roof where it's going to be a gentle slope. So I do want to see on this side where that gentle slope gets up to. And now I do not know which block is going to be best. But I've just grabbed some stone just as a, I don't know, just as a start. We'll see where it takes me. Oh, that is... Oh, right. There's now more fog for rain. Huh. That's a weird feeling. That's a... Huh. I don't hate it. Okay, as it's raining, so my doesn't really get exactly the contrast I'm wanting, but I think this is still the slope that I do want, which is good. So starting off low, getting higher up. Now I kind of want to see what kind of roof shape I'm working with, and might even put this roof out just so I can see kind of the whole profile, the whole shadow of it. If you know in animation, there's something about like the shape of creatures. Like if I was to fully black out this pig and but still have the outline of it, you'd be able to tell that that's a pig versus any other mob in the game. I kind of want to have something similar to that. I want to be able to see what my outline is and what the shape of it will be. And yeah, it will be similar to my house, but I mean that's kind of the style that I want to continue in, is having these similar types of roof shapes to make a little bit of a cohesive area. I mean, granted, the town hall is different, but it still does have that peak in front of it. So, yeah, figuring things out as I go. But that's a general idea I want to have. So yeah, let's get more roof stuff going. Okay, I mean that kind of fits the profile. I think I might eventually extend that out more, but at least in terms of that general shape, that's kind of what I was envisioning. All right, let's get the center peak. The hard part with this one though is just how different this type of roof is compared to that type of roof. So blending that in together can get a little bit tricky. I don't know how much. Yeah, you can see a little bit of the change where it becomes that's always two blocks going up, and then that gets a little funky there. And that's the same for the other side, where with this side being just stairs to stairs, it kind of balances it out. But yeah, for here I'm just kind of saying, you know what, I'll put this as the height. I'm gonna bring this back a little bit up to there. Yeah, I still don't know what I'm gonna do with this side of the roof. That's gonna be a question for just a little bit later. I mean, I think this could work. I think this could work. Let's try and mesh the two up. You know, I don't hate it. Let's get a I mean, I don't get me wrong. I think the roof needs to be different, but at least just for prototyping, since I haven't figured out what color I want for the roof, stone's a good prototype. But I think for that type of shape, at the same point, no. It might be because I'm doing stone. Let's see, let's go back over to this guy. Where with all the colors, and everything, and this just blending up and in. That works as it is. But I think that's partially because of the texture of it. Or if I go back over to here, yeah, everything kind of blends in a little bit too much. There's not enough texture in the stone itself. But if I'm looking just at the shape of it, I think let me fill in that end real quick. Yeah, I think for the shape of it, that's what I want to go for. But yeah, definitely not going to stay as stone. So let's see what I'm going to do for this side real quick. So first of all, for the roof over here, I think I've had in mind doing campfires. And I think, what, do I use a shovel to put them out? Yes, okay. Is this an original idea? No. This is a very frequent idea for people. But I have not done this too much, so I don't know what exactly works best. And maybe I need to throw some spruce planks. Might be similar color to that. I think I might need to look at what other people do for roofs of campfires. Regardless. Okay, this side of the shape, I really haven't put too much thought into, but if I wanted to get down to there, I could, would be best to have it be that angle and straight out, or try to curve it out. Because there's always a chance I need to redo my foundation. The foundation isn't really set in stone, almost seems ironic to say. But yeah, it's not, everything's subject to change. Let's see, version 1, that's a no. What if it's just a flat roof there? Okay, flat roof is too flat. Nope, that still doesn't hit the mark. I guess now we're trying this just like the other side. Maybe? Well, but then at that point, why do I have that as a different height as that start? Okay. I think I'm good with that shape. But I think I do need to then move this wall out by 1. Yeah, I think that works for a pretty good silhouette. So while I continue to think about what exactly I want to do for the material for the roofs here, for the slabs and the stairs, I think I'm going to go ahead and build out the rest of this building shape, and I think maybe extend the patio just a little bit, and then I will bring you guys back in just a little bit later. So, I might have gotten slightly carried away. Yeah, I kind of put my head down, started working, stopped worrying about trying to record things. So, yeah, let's give you a little aerial tour outside. So the first thing you can notice is that the silhouette is slightly different from the last time that I updated you, which, I mean, I said it would be a little bit, but it's been a few hours. So all of this side here is the same shape, but over here I actually ended up bringing in the wall a little bit, so and then that made only just a slight overhang. And yes, I settled on doing andesite and granite. Torches are temporary. I just needed to stop creepers from spawning. But I actually kind of figured that this arrangement for the roofs could make somewhat sense if you could think of, oh, these are stonemasons making this house, and they found this large flat section of granite, maybe one piece, maybe multiple pieces, and they made it into this wide arcing shape, and then this little bit of andesite is a little bit more spiky to get the roof. So then they get blended together, and yeah, chimney as well, which I'll explain once I get inside. And also the horses. I'll explain the horses inside. So why don't I go inside? These horses are just temporary here. I also wanted some horses because I don't have horses yet. So yeah, I'll do more of them later. But inside here is where I got a little bit more a little bit more carried away. Um, so yeah, I looked up online what stonemason buildings would be like, and one common thing is that some of them worked with clay. So this is a furnace for clay, oven for clay. I don't really know what it's called, but it's just a little bit of an oven constantly burning because I mean, might as well always have it lit. And that conveniently lined up with my floor pattern. And there's one thing that I'm kind of missing in the floor pattern that I only realized once I was done. And no, actually it's two things. And it really doesn't have to do with much besides just how stonemasons work. And that is based off of their trades. So my thought process was, well, if I'm going to make a house for stonemasons, I might as well make it off of blocks that they would reasonably feasibly have. So what do stonemasons trade a lot of? Well, they trade granite. They trade andesite, which is now only in one spot over in the corner, which I will cover up eventually. But the other third thing they trade a lot of is diorite. And I forgot to add that. So I need to figure out where to add that. The other thing they trade, which has a little bit less of options, is dripstone. So I need to figure out a way to incorporate dripstone and diorite. Maybe into the floor, maybe into walls and segments around this building. Because yeah, as you can see, the floor pattern's unfinished. It actually just ended in a convenient spot, and I haven't figured out what to do with. I haven't figured out what to do with the rest of it. But yeah, I actually had to fly all the way over to the Badlands, the northwest, which is that direction that I'm facing, and collect a lot of terracotta because I didn't have that much terracotta. So that's how I got everything that's below me. And yeah, this is concrete here. I think it's light blue. No, cyan concrete. Light gray glazed, brown glazed, regular terracotta, brown terracotta, light gray terracotta, regular terracotta. I don't hate the pattern. I'm not in love with it either. It might be a little too catchy for what I'm going for, and I still need to figure out rooms and walls and stuff. So I think since I spent about a whole day on this, oh, that's a wall. Since I spent about a whole day on this, I think I'm actually going to sit with everything I've done here overnight. I might come back tomorrow to try and finish this up to finish the episode, or I might just end the episode here. So, yeah, not signing off yet, but who knows? The next clip might be. But other than that, I I I need to take a break. I was at this for quite a long time today. But hey, I I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Well, I've gotten a little bit carried away. I need to work on being good at just ending videos when I'm done and stop fiddling with stuff because it's been about a week. And I finished this pretty early on in that week and then just kept fiddling with it. As you can see, I completely redid the flooring here. I worked on getting diorite in here and dripstone, and then I ended up expanding the oven, furnace oven. I think it's oven in this case. Uh, but yeah, added windows, added stuff for the windows. All of this may be subject to change, and yeah, I still do want to get rooms in here and such. I also realized I never explained what the horses were for. The horses, I was thinking of like being a power source for a wheel of some sort here, but obviously I haven't made that yet. I haven't made any of the rooms in here. I haven't even lit this up properly. But it's still been a week since I last recorded. I need to get better, like I said, at just being satisfied with being unfinished. But I have worked on this patio a bit, added a little bit of texture, and figured, hey, you know what? As a stonemason, they would store just some piles of the stones they were working on nearby. So I got granite, andesite, diorite, and just regular stone. And then I thought, you know what? Where would they get other stuff from? Well, they would have carts to bring stuff, so maybe I can have a cart of dripstone that goes down below. I can have quartz that comes from the nether. So all of this stuff I've just been tinkering with, adding little bits here and there. I should have gotten this video out by last week. But here I am, with things just slightly more finished, but still unfinished. Also, I got some armadillos. I I don't I don't know why. Also, my sword is now fully maxed out, and I have created a sword to get ready for the spider spawners that I need, singular spider spawner, that I need to do to get spider eyes. Also, if you didn't notice anything in the clouds, I did actually shrink the cloud rendering distance. Apparently that's a option now, and instead of being at 128, I made it 64, and I'm liking this just a little bit better. For comparison, this is 128, which is the default, where everything just seems to keep going for some reason, and this is 64, where I think it falls off a little bit better with how the fog is. But yeah, been a busy episode, but also took way too long to get out. Something I'm working on. But yeah, I got my stonemason's house like maybe 75% done. I still gotta do a little bit more interior, probably get some villagers over here to bring some life to this. But I might end up doing that once I get a few more buildings taken care of, just so I have a general idea of what exactly I am doing here. Because I'm still figuring out, still working as I go, and who knows? Things are subject to change. I very well could completely redo this house. I might add some more patterns. I might change some stuff around. I'm trying to be comfortable with that too, of having everything be in progress and be flexible and ever changing. Because that's the beauty of Minecraft, is that things are never permanent. Just like this map behind me. I now get to update this house finally. And now there's a little bit more color there, a little bit more life, a little bit more character. I think next I'm trying to do, besides getting the spider farm, which I think is like there-ish, I want to get that spider farm done. I want to maybe get this cliffside done, get some features going on. But I think there's one thing I need to do to finish out this video. The final thing I want to do is say goodbye to this, at least in its current state. I thought this was going to be a good way to organize, and honestly, I do need some sort of organization. But however this worked, it just put too much pressure on myself. Somehow I do that and just think I need to get something done in a video. But progress is progress, and to progress, you don't need to complete. I think with that, I'm going to sign off right now. Let this burn out in the background. In the meantime, be good to yourself, be good to each other, and be good to the world. This has been Radio, after a very long time, signing off.